For teenagers, Sienna and Xavier returning home to Darwin after a term at their Melbourne boarding school has meant 2 weeks in the Howard Springs quarantine facility.
Well, it's more strict the second time I went because we weren't allowed to exercise or not off our little veranda, which there wasn't much room.
17-year-old Xavier's had 3 stints in quarantine during his Year 11 school year, avoiding a 4th only by opting to stay in COVID-ridden Melbourne last term.
Didn't want to go through like another 2 weeks of just sitting in a room all day.
Children under 18 in quarantine must be supervised by a guardian.
Having to take leave, leave without pay, going in there for 2 weeks at a time is quite hard on families.
The Northern Territory government has signed onto a national code streamlining rules for interstate borders, but it's still unclear when and how this will work.
What the National Code said was, if possible, that should be a home quarantine arrangement. That's obviously a decision that health has to make.
For example, for some Territory teenagers who board in Melbourne, home quarantine won't work because they're from remote Indigenous communities where COVID vaccination rates have been generally low. Some have already spent 56 days in Howard Springs in the past year.
They are so committed to their education and their willingness to go through quarantine to enable that is incredibly courageous.
Teachers from the Melbourne Indigenous Transition School enter quarantine with their students.
Going to school on your veranda and then finishing the day and heading back inside your donga is pretty fatiguing. We would love to have access to a teaching and learning space in there.
The future of an actual classroom inside Howard Springs remains uncertain, but in the meantime, these students will keep taking the pandemic in their stride. Jade, Toomey, ABC News.